welcome back.
Well, why'd you do that?
Whoa, what was wrong with that?
Because
that was
that-
a good, that was more like a Donahue style. I was just like, and welcome back.
It just throws me off because it's not what I'm used to.
You should be professional enough to jump right in. You try it. I'll jump in. Try it.
Kenny's here. How you doing, Kenny?
Hey, how are you doing, Kenny? See how I did that?
Well, I'm doing well, guys. Thanks for having me.
No,
here.
don't do it. Don't play
Radio
along.
Kenny's
No,
here.
yeah.
I thought we wanted to talk about radio.
Well, I had some things about radio.
He wants
'cause-
to talk about it. He doesn't want you to talk about
I
it.
want you to listen to radio.
Well, you brought up the fact. I was like, it's the first time you've been in here. You're like, nope, I sat in here, and there's one time before that. So it makes me
I've
look
been
like
here
a
plenty of
D-head. yeah. Why do I continue to
When
do
Tom
that?
says he doesn't care about anything, it's the listeners.
Sometimes
No, I do care.
Sometimes I do it
I
with
just-
people. I'll be like, and like I'll meet a listener, and he's like, "You remember me, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, you're the guy."
What? Don't do that. You're the person that does that is the D.
They do it all the time too.
I know.
What's my kid's name? That's a new one.
Oh, yeah,
What's my
well,
kid's
That's
name?
impossible. I don't know my best friend's kids' names.
No, but they say they're like, "What's my kid's name?" And I'm like, and I got nothing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a pedophile. I don't keep track
Oh,
of
that's
those
good.
things.
Maybe I'll counter with that. Everyone should have a good pedophile counter loaded. This is a different time. Back in the day, you used to have to have a drug reference loaded to, like if somebody's like, "Hey man, you want to smoke this?" You're like, "That's for dopes," or "Drugs are just say no," like that kind of thing. You have to have something.
Mario told me I'm going to hell.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta have something chambered. But now it's pedophiles. If somebody's like, "Hey, you want this kid?" You're like, "Nah, dog. I'm trying to cut back."
So you mentioned that you were in here for our Shark Tank bit we did, and you
Dare
were the
I say
toilet
one
paper.
of our best bits?
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
One of our
yeah.
best bits.
And you were the toilet paper one, which was obviously a goof invention, but we laughed about it. It was good. But now it all clicks because I was like, that's what, and Daniel will understand this, when you want to get on a show or in radio or whatever, you just want to get you wait till that particular show is doing something that you could be involved in, right? And this happened at when I was a listener of radio. They did this thing where to win a cruise, you had to do something insane, whatever.
It was like, wasn't it Live Action Fridays?
Yeah. That's
That
what it was. Yeah.
And it was something where you had to do the most exciting thing you could think of audibly in order to win a cruise.
yeah.
Yeah. We
That
call
was the
that
thing.
the old Castleberry hook. That's what I call it.
Anyway, so I was listening to that, and I was gonna brand.
Baby, they's giving away cruises.
Because I looked at that like this is my way in to get some airtime because I was like I listen to the show, I do these things already like these stunts and I was into that.
It would commingle well.
Yeah, and I can get my foot
You
in the door.
weren't wrong.
And then I called it. I never ended up doing it. Thank God, by the way. Because, I mean, that would have been a
What were you
tremendous
gonna do?
mistake.
I forget what we were gonna do.
I was gonna brand the Monsters M on my ass.
Yes, just do it.
my
Let's
Could you
do it. It's
imagine
never
how
too late.
much I'd regret
It's
that?
never too late. You can either die right now or start living, brother. Let's do it. Somebody get me a coat hanger and let me see if I still can bend it into the flames. I'm gonna burn your ass good, buddy.
Anyway, because at the time I was like, "Who cares?" I didn't care about anything, my body or whatever. Like I would have done anything. I was like, I had no future. I was like,
Wow.
that's what I thought. I was like, I never expected to be anything, and so I was like, I'll do anything.
Who said you were?
I know I'm not. I'm not anything
all right.
now.
I
I
just
never
thought-
was gonna be anything.
Okay.
But I was never thinking like, I
You're
should.
Orlando's strongest streamer.
I was like, I'll regret this later. I didn't care about that. Anyway,
Just burn your logo into my butt.
so that was your foot in the door with the old Shark Tank bit, and then
I wanted to impress you guys by rubbing a sandpaper piece of equipment on Dan's junk, and now we're best friends.
don't even remember.
I don't remember any of that.
I don't even remember
I
that
don't
or
remember
the
you
show.
sanding my junk. Look, I don't need the sand down there. I need every little
Get this
bit.
guy out of here. What's happening?
But
guy's
it worked. Listen, it worked. Like now you're in the studio with us. You got a monthly bid or whatever the hell it is.
Whatever this
I don't
is.
even know what it is.
I mean, look, you
But you're here.
successfully leached on. And here you are.
yeah. And
Yeah.
people should learn from that.
Yeah.
Like
You want to
sometime-
ride the fame train? Well, here you are.
if you want to be involved with something, sometimes like just show up and try to do something. And
like
then,
you want to be a wrestler, show up to the Full Sail WWE Performance Studio parking lot with a gun.
Oh my god.
No, people have done that, I think.
Yeah, but I'm
don't
saying-
do that. Absolutely do not do that.
It does work, and I think that it sounds too easy, and people are like, "Nah, that could never," And sometimes, a lot of times, it doesn't. But if you have the right personality and you're like a hard worker, just showing up and doing something.
Steven Spielberg did that. He wasn't always the big name Hollywood, juggernaut that he is. He had to show up, and then the old. Legend is that he found an abandoned trailer on set and made that his home, and the rest is history, right?
Is that what really happened? Or is that just an urban
I don't know if
legend?
that's what really happened, but I do know that they romanticize it a bit and make it as if to sound like he was so talented and confident that he could just take over a trailer, and then he was working out of that before people realized that he shouldn't have been there.
Here's the problem. The only problem is the crazies do it too. And then
That's called squatting when they're crazy.
Well, it's hard to differentiate the crazy people from the actual hardworking
The geniuses.
people that just want to get their foot in the door, because then you get jaded by the crazies and you think everybody's crazy. And you just, as soon as they show up or want to do anything, you're like, oh, they're crazy. But
The
then
foot in the door thing too is weird.
but could be beneficial for content.
Well, because you'd have to know the size of the door. Because I don't necessarily want my foot in a bank vault door.
How you doing, Kenny?
Hey, I'm doing quite well. You guys added to it because you guys promised $10,000 to that Shark Tank.
Oh,
winner.
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
arbitrary $10,000.
Wait a minute.
that never
That
happened.
doesn't. Normally, we don't lie that hard when we're doing bits.
Oh, this was a big lie.
No, hold on. I actually got some like confirmation from like Dice Man, and then even Odang Hummus Jesse, that
I thought you were going to say Odell Beckham Jr.
and me, between all three of us, we were like, well, if it's a good enough idea, we'll all invest like $3,300. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Wait
because
a minute,
but
you-
what's the
I
chances
never
that it's a good
agreed to
enough
give
idea?
$3,000 to some dumb invention.
I did the gambling math, and I was like, what's the chances any of them are going to be good enough idea to actually
Oh,
invest
so
our
you were
money?
doing the old throw the football through the tiny hole insurance.
Yeah, no one's gonna.
No one's
actually
gonna do it anyway,
Don't
so
even get.
sure,
yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead and
yeah,
try.
Exactly. So the $10,000 wasn't a lie.
So this was an impossible task. This was a
it was
variation.
more of an impossible.
This
task.
was a variation.
I only got like 5 things.
Well, I only got 5 impressions, so we're in good company
I
here.
only got 5 business plans. One of them hookups. One of them impossible tests.
And what do I got?
Love meter.
I got
Love
old man.
meter.
I got old man. I got
yeah.
lady or gay guy.
Susan.
I got
Yeah.
I'll make up for it now.
Old black guy.
Old black guy, and then I got one more.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know
got
what it is.
skeptical Jew, which
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
your
we
wife
can't
does
really
a better
do that
job.
one
Yeah, my wife
anymore.
does a better version of that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Marty Levinson, our attorney.
But that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
So, Kenny, what do you want to talk about today?
Yeah, I want to know, what do you guys know about drone racing?
What don't I know about drone racing is
Well,
the real question.
we
I
had
know
a-
they fall out of the sky in China. That happened, 3 days ago?
What happened to that?
They were doing a drone show in China, and then it malfunctioned, so the drones just started falling out of the sky and landing on cars.
Like, was it the one where like it's a bunch of them together?
Yeah,
and
like,
they
you know,
make
make like an
words?
emoji.
Yeah.
You know, they make like, oh, look at that, it's emoji. And then they started falling out of the sky and just landing on cars. It's awesome.
Like,
But then I started thinking, like, this is the way my brain thinks, because I don't think that I'm a bad person, but I do think I'm a child. Because I immediately said, well, I'd be running around, because it's just a software malfunction. I'd be running around scooping up all those drops. I'd take me home 17, 18 drones.
well, they
I'd be
probably broke, right, when they hit the ground.
No, they were landing themselves. They were falling, but then
Oh.
right before they'd hit the ground, they'd land themselves gently. They'd get tangled in some people's hair, stuff like that. But like, I'd be scooping up as many as I can and throwing them in the back of my Kia. Right? I'd be piling in drones. I'd be like, hey, get these things home. They got some good meat on these drones.
Yeah, you can Frankenstein them together and create like a whole army of them.
You could, and then you get on it and fly to the USA.
So, drone racing. We had a company in that did drone racing.
OAS Hobby, yeah.
OAS Hobby, and they told us about it. It looks cool.
Yeah, so this
Hard.
This is basically the Premier Leagues, if you will. It's the top level of drone racing. It's been around for about 4 or 5 years, but only in the last couple years have they started getting more legitimate in terms of being on NBC Sports, having locations around the country where they're doing it. And that's one of my many side gigs that I do is I actually help to stage manage and produce the live aspects of it. So we fly around from city to city, venue to venue, and we just do a bunch of drone racing.
Really?
That's cool,
Yeah.
man.
Is there enough people watching it to make it
Oh, yeah.
lucrative?
Yeah, and they have sponsors that have like Allianz as a sponsor, the bank, and Swatch and U.S. Air Force. Like they're sponsoring the entire thing.
The Air
Really?
Force
Oh, yeah.
one makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
that's where everything's going.
Well-
You'll be flying a jet. You'll be flying a drone. Sorry.
Also, they want to get the best drone racers to go to the Air Force, so they can right for like.
How do you feel about
'cause
the
everything-
desert?
Yeah, everything's going. Well, you can do it from wherever now. Like you could be in some sort of like off-site place and
Nah,
then
I'd want
drone
to be,
some
I'd
missiles.
want to be at least on site just so I could dress up in the garb.
So
Yeah.
in this
Desert
instance, we have pilots. There's 12 of them every season, and they just compete with each other like NASCAR. They accumulate points race after race, and we, like I said, we go around city to city. So we've been to Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Allianz Field in Minnesota, and I know I sent Dan and Sam a video of it, but you can take a look at it. But yeah, and then we're
Can't really enjoy.
Yeah.
But
it's like those
when you see-
helicopters that go upside down. I always say when the rednecks are flying them, I'm like, I can't enjoy that. It's too fast.
Yeah.
Well, the good news about them, each drone is a different color, so they'll be flashing different colors based on whatever pilot.
He's saying something horribly racist. I don't know what anything means anymore because we're changing
Yeah.
the meanings of things.
and
I don't know what this called. What do you call a shyster? That's good, right?
is
Is that good or bad?
I just want some more shenanigans going on.
Shyster shenanigans.
Kind of add the mini golf element to it, where the goofiness of
Oh, you
like,
want holy moly drones?
So
yeah, like I want
Oh,
some
man.
like King Kong guy
Yeah,
in a
why
King
does
Kong
everything
suit.
got to be for babies?
Like I want a guy in a King Kong suit and he's holding on to a fake Empire State Building and he's trying to swat the drones out of the air as you have to fly around the Empire State Building. You know, I want that because it adds.
Isn't this just battle bots in the sky?
I want a
That's
battle
not
bot.
bad at all.
Or some ability for a drone to have like one net that they could shoot per race to possibly shoot the net in front of the drone. You know, to disable the drone in front of them.
Okay.
It would be more
So you want
interesting.
like Mario Kart drones?
Just something to add because after you can only see the drone go through the tube so many times, and yeah, you got neon. You're like, all right, well, after about 30 seconds of it, I'm like, all right, give me the King Kong or the net or something.
I will admit the anxiety is there because these things crash all the time.
I'm just like something. Like, oh my God, King Kong came out. You're just like, oh yeah, this is something
Oh, he
ridiculous.
swatted him. Oh, he got him. Oh, he got Gab 69. He knocked Danger Gab 69 right out of the sky. We'll be right back. Here's a commercial for Swatch. Buy this watch. It's all plastic. Swiss.
So for the audience, yeah, I could totally agree with that. But the video that I just sent Dan, it's all first person. So you're not
This one?
flying it like you would normally fly a drone, and you can see going left and right. It's all first person view.
Okay,
so
here,
you're
check this
seeing
out.
it as if you are in
Inside
the drone.
the
as well.
drone.
You are
Which-
the drone.
It's insane, like how
This is POV,
well-
is what you call it, Kenny.
Yeah.
You should know that. You're a pervert.
Now, do you see like? I mean, because do they switch it? Do they have like someone producing the footage so that they're showing like the view
Oh, yeah.
of the person in the front?
Yeah, they got
and
a
then the person
producer.
back?
Yeah, they got a control room, and the guy's
Yeah.
like,
But each pilot has their own set of goggles and stuff that they look through to fly through the
here,
whole thing.
here, Tom, check it out. I'm gonna
It
put this
seems insanely hard to navigate that fast through
yeah.
a course. Like,
up there. Look at this guy.
That's how I don't get like how the heck they.
Oh,
they
he
do
went
this
back
all.
through the X or the
So,
square.
the
seems
way
like
they
you
do
get
the
lost.
course.
So like, where the hell am I? You know what I'm saying? Like,
You
I'm
do
already.
that already.
Check out this
Tell me
move.
which way to go.
This move is like what they call the double back, where they have to like fly through 3 rings at once in order to get through, and it's insane how they do that and not crash. Now they do crash all the time, which is absolutely spectacular and amazing.
I mean,
Isn't
is
that
it?
amazing?
This is making me
I mean,
dizzy.
I'm with Tom. I think it would only be
I'm not the
spectacular and
ass on your
amazing
career.
if I were an ant. You know what's spectacular and amazing? When a plane explodes in the sky. I'm like, what?
Well, the
Like, if I see a drone fall, I'm like, you crashed your toy, little baby. I'm
So
sorry. Go
the-
pee-pee your diaper now.
The last video that I sent you is a montage of crashes, so you'll be able to see like
Okay.
when they're going like 150 miles per hour and crashing into each other.
These are the top crashes of 2019.
I want the owner or the racer to care more. Because I'm assuming, I don't know, but like
You
they have
always,
they have like 20 of these things.
You
and
want
if
this
they
like
crash
Squid
it,
Game where they crash it and that guy just falls through the floor and you're like, that dude dead.
Yeah, or like that's his prized possession. And he's like, like he's upset emotionally about it.
Or like they
I
have a
just feel
gun.
like-
They have a gun to his wife's head, and as soon as that thing crashes, they just goes the screen goes blank, and he
let me
starts
say this.
crying.
You'd be surprised how insane these people get. So they'll crash and they'll throw their controllers and start cursing out loud, and they have to be like
Triple
bleeped out.
farts.
Oh yeah, some
He's a
nerd
nerd.
rage. All right, okay, that's something.
No, and it's pretty cool.
Good golly, triple farts! I'm so mad right now. I'm gonna go meditate.
And then when they do win, like you get some trash talkers, so they'll get up and like walk over to the other pilots sitting down and get in their face
look at
and like
that.
yell at them.
You ain't never built your
Oh, yeah.
own computer, son.
Kenny, I'll tell you when to get out of this. All right.
Now.
So here's here's
Sam,
what.
just so you know,
Okay,
we only have one female in the room.
Yeah.
You've been talking about this, and I've been trying to help you. We've been whipping it hard. Not impressed. Not impressed
Yeah,
over
this
there.
is a guy.
Yeah,
nerd
we have,
thing,
we have an attractive woman in
I
here,
actually-
and I'm seeing eye rolls for days.
Yeah, I actually they'll think it's kind of cool, but I just have to ask.
Sam does not.
It's so interesting what you think is cool and what you think is for babies.
He's a nerd. I've been telling you this guy's a nerd.
I mean, I still am gonna S on it, but it's kind of. I mean, it's cooler than Dungeons and Dragons
Dungeons?
or Pokemon or something. You know what I'm saying? Like
It
other.
is cooler than Pokemon
Yeah.
and Dungeons and Dragons. I agree.
Yeah, because it's actually
physical.
A drone flying through something, and it's a race, which is
It is-
cool.
There's an element of danger. You could chop your eyes out.
There's a lot of skill, and the average person can technically do it at home as well.
I got
made
Daniel drone. He flew it 3 times.
I flew it 3 times. Well, here's the problem. Where I live way too close to Executive Airport, so the likelihood, and I don't leave my house. I'm a hermit. I'm a trollman. And trollmans, we don't leave our shire. And
Yeah.
and every time I'd fly it, it would just get blown out of the sky by some waves. I just force it to the ground. They're like, nope, you can't fly it.
All
But
right.
it's fun. But it was an old fat dad drone. It wasn't a
It
zippy
was,
drone.
yeah. So, Kenny, here's when you get out, all right?
All right.
So, when the drone racers start adopting, like, uniforms or personalities or, like...
Dave Chappelle has a uniform.
what I mean is, like, the same thing that the British dart players did, where...
where they have a mohawk?
Their sport was boring, so then they're like... And bowlers did this, too, by the
I'm
way.
gonna wear fancy boots and I'm gonna get a mohawk so I don't look so fat and boring.
Where they have to like add the like the wrestler personalities to the sport
Yeah.
because no one's watching,
Well-
and they're trying to like do whatever they can so they get a rainbow mohawk.
The Brits
and-
cheaped out because they just did name and hairstyle, and that's cheap. They were just like, from now on, Gary, you're known as the Rock Crusher and you have a mohawk.
Yeah, well,
That's lame,
Well,
dude.
they don't have any personality because they're nerds, just like the drone pilots,
yeah.
just like all of them. Like they can't be like the wrestlers that get higher up. Like they're the talkers, and they're nerds too, but they know how to talk.
Xavier Woods.
And
Yeah.
and because that's part of the gig. But
He
to be a good
is
drone,
he's as nerdy as it get.
like to be a really good drone pilot, I'm sure like maybe you're on the spectrum, you're like you're super intelligent, you just can understand the controls more than the average human or whatever.
Well, they,
but it
they
doesn't
had a
add,
show about that on ABC about a drone pilot who's on the spectrum. I think it's called The Good Drone Pilot. I think that's what it's called.
So to
Look
make
it up.
it-
It's really good. And they handle the subject matter like
so
delicate hands.
to make it interesting, we got to dress you like Wario.
This has always been your dream.
Well, I'm just saying.
Well, he's
because-
Waluigi. What is it?
Waluigi.
Waluigi.
Okay, yeah,
He's
yeah.
tall and thin.
Yeah, with
well,
a big
yeah.
D.
So that is where I see this progressing to.
Okay.
And then when it gets to that point, that's your sign that everything's failing and you got to get the hell out.
Well, I will admit there is one pilot that's going to blow your mind. He's fully tatted like Dan, giant
I'm
gauges.
not fully tatted. I'm just, I'm getting there.
But he's got gauges in his ear. He used to be an electrician, and because of an accident, part of his fingers were cut off on one hand.
Yes.
So his pilot name is Nub.
No, really?
All right, little no
he
effects.
embraces it.
Well, hold on. The fact that they were cut off tells me that it wasn't an electrical accident because
It was drones.
that blows off.
The drone
Well,
cut
just
his
because
fingers
he
off.
was an electrician, I don't know. He could be cutting some cables or something.
We
Well,
know a
that's
guy
not
that
as
got
good.
blown off a ladder and his eyeballs fell out.
Yeah. Like if you're an electrician and it blows some of your fingers off, then
We know these guys.
Yeah, if you just cut it off like you're making your daughter's like wooden horse, and you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Let me chop
whoa,
up your hot dog.
that is nothing.
Wooden horse. What year is it?
Well, I'm just saying that has nothing nothing to do with being an
Tom
electrician.
doesn't
Not as
let his
good.
kids have any electronic toys. They all have
Except for the
traditional
doll
wooden
of Louis
toys.
Armstrong.
But if you're the mad electrician that blew all your fingers off, and now you're an electricity man,
Your name is Fists.
and you're dressed like Mr. Freeze from the game with the Running Man.
Dude, that guy's the best.
Then I'm back in. I'm watching. I'm like Mr. Freeze.
But see, I know you say that's when I need to bail. That's when I need to stay on board.
I agree.
Well,
I'm conflicted now because you went with the fat guy Mr. Freeze costume for Running Man, and that is one of my quintessential favorites.
But then me and all the other dodos start watching it and laughing at it. We don't take it seriously, and the whole essence of the sport is that you take it away.
Why
and
don't
no
they
one's
fight? Why don't we have any type of drone fighting?
Well, I will say that you do get some nerd fights because there's one of them who was 18 and his mom was fairly young. So one of the older pilots started joking about dating his mom and actually did date his mom, and then really pissed off the young
God.
pilot.
He was banging the drone guy's mom?
Yeah.
What?
And so he would show up to the events with a framed photo of him and his mom together and put it like at the pilot stand just to
F with the guy. This
Yeah.
guy's great. That is
We
getting
need
in
more
there.
like that.
Oh, you're almost at the point of getting out of this. So, what mom is gonna date the
horny one.
Like your nerd son's into drones, and you're gonna date the other nerd drone racer? Like, just, I mean,
You got to go to a lot of meets, and Mama has needs.
yeah, but you don't do that for the
What? She's single. She's not married. She's not cheating on anybody.
but for the sake of your
She's
son.
an adult. He's an adult. Sure, it's unconventional, but
Well, let me
she's got
tell
a
you-
life too, Tom.
So the each race, so there's like semifinals, finals, and a bunch of different levels. If you win a race and come in first place, $5,000 right
Oh,
there.
I thought you were going to say if you win a race and come in first place, you get to bang the other drone pilot's mom.
Yeah. Now,
But yeah, it's
Kenny,
like-
you said $5,000 like that was an impressive amount. I was like, that's it.
But what I'm saying
Like,
is there
for the biggest and best in the world.
There are 6 races in each semifinals. Then you go to the finals, and there's 6 races there. And then if you win the finals, you win an extra $10,000. So in theory, in just one day's worth of work, because we're there for multiple days, you could probably win $40,000-$50,000 in a
Okay,
day.
now we're talking.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then-
50 grand a day is a
Yeah,
That's a.
And then the next day, do the same thing all over again. Because every single city that we're in, we do 4 days worth of races in
Are
order
there-
to like get content and stuff.
Is there a guy like a LeBron or a Michael
Oh,
Jordan?
yeah.
Is there a guy that like when you see him fly, you're like, well, there's the guy.
So for the last 2 or 3 years, it was one kid named Vanover, and he would win everything. And then this year, he's getting challenged by a younger person, and so now it's like the big drama of Vanover or his name is Heads Up. So it's Vanover or Heads Up, and the two of them are battling.
All
So it's
right.
very big drama between a
Get your
20-year-old.
boys into drone racing, dude.
I'm trying to get
Or
them outside.
e-gaming.
You know, I'm trying to get them into something that involves sweating. like you know, to start with. They can always get it. If they showed any passion towards anything, I would support it. They don't want nothing. They're not in nothing. They have 2 drones, never even took them out of the box. Seriously, they got for Christmas one year like 2 mini drones. They're still in the box. Never took them out. This goes back to the Olympics, where the idea of having some fat dad run next to the 100-yard dashers or whatever to show how fast they're actually going. I think that's the one thing that this sport is missing is you're seeing all the best in the world fly their drones super fast, but I just want an amateur fat nerd dad
To try it once.
like
Yeah,
Daniel out there flying
Hey,
his big
You
white.
go out there and do it.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't even know, but just to show how good the
Yeah.
rest of the racers are, I think that
There was one racer, he knew he wasn't going to win and he's probably going to get last place, so he intentionally went slow, just hoping the other 5 drone racers crashed so he would win first place by default, and it worked.
Really,
Yeah,
like
they're-
everybody crashed.
Strategy.
There was one race, everyone crashed, and he was just floating and going as slow and steady wins
yeah.
the race and ended up winning.
I mean,
That's strategy. If you know the other guys are hyped up and
Yep.
maybe they're in a competition, maybe
Oh, yeah.
it's the guy and the mom. So there's some anger there, right? You let those guys battle it out and you just eyes on the prize, slow and steady wins the race.
so there are announcers
Oh, yeah.
that like call the
Yep.
race, right? How does that work?
Just kind of like a NASCAR race or a horse race, really. I think is the best way to do it. You just have one person just somehow keeping track of all of them. It's like, oh, he switched through the double back and he's going live and he's in first place.
That's hard to do, by the
yeah.
way. Like, I don't understand. I guess maybe you have to have a background in drone racing, right? Or like understand it,
Yeah.
because there's no way you could even like you can't just take your average Radio Joe in your town and then
Hi.
have him, because he could talk or whatever. Like he wouldn't even be able to keep up with how fast.
Normally, I'm used to going live from the pumpkin patch. I'll give a swing at it.
I'm here at a racetrack and I got some extra CDs.
So where does this go, Kenny? Because
Why are you here?
No, not that story. I'm talking the overall drone racing business.
So inevitably, they want in 2019 they did a bunch of live events and they wanted to continue it and kind of grow it bigger. Obviously, 2020 happened, so now they're just slowly getting back into it. So right now it's just a television spectator sport, but they want to inevitably make it a live spectator sport and make that the main focus, and then you can watch the replays on TV.
I would go
Because there is a lot of downtime in between each race, because if they crash, you have to go out there, clean up the drones, set up the other drones, get ready for the next race.
I would watch a drone race once. I would go and watch a live drone race, just check it out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
They
because
play music and stuff while they're
Oh,
racing.
yeah, and not just that. And then in between, like I said, there's a lot of downtime. So part of my job is to do like what you see at the Magic Games, where it's like, all right, we're going to give out some T-shirts, or let's do some trivia,
Do you guys
or
have
let's do some video
you have
packages.
somebody who dresses up like a drone, and
is
do you
there
have drone dancers, girls that dress like drones?
We actually did when we did our big live event in Phoenix. We
they
had a
don't wanna
bunch
be
of
there. There's paid models.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, they're
like
walking
Monster
around.
Energy drink girls that.
Oh my
just
God!
basically-
All of these nerds have boners.
But then they start realizing how much money they made, and they're like, drone racing.
I
don't know why I sound like
I would
no,
say
they
you
didn't.
own your
They
own
never said
drone
that.
accessory company. Oh.
They're-
What do you sell? Drone bags and blades? You sell some
'cause you could
upgraded blades?
you could win some prize money, but I'm just gonna venture a guess saying that there's no money in this. Like you are spending a tremendous amount on drone parts and traveling and stuff just for the small off chance you
Drone
win.
parts.
No, I'm serious. A small off chance. I mean, there's no money in motocross unless for like the top 20
Yeah.
You're going to
people.
be sponsored by the
Yeah.
biggest company.
Well, and that's
sure.
the thing.
The
when you-
rest of it is just pouring money into your passion. Like, ask anybody in the motocross. And then motocross is huge. Like, only the top 10 people make money. The rest are dumping their family's money into the motorcycles, the damn semi trucks.
Do you ever get a guy that like maybe will do okay, but he's not like one of the big guys, and he's kind of like one of those guys that's like, man, me and Daddy, we saved up as much money as we could get to make it to this race. I'm just glad I got a top 5 showing.
Yeah.
Like one of those
Honestly,
guys.
you will.
Because NASCAR, you get that. NASCAR, you get the independent little brake
Yeah.
shop. The guy's a good driver,
Yeah.
but he's not, Penske or
Yeah.
whatever.
The privateer. They in
and he's gotta
motocross they
pick
call
and
it the
choose.
privateer
Yeah,
that's
it-
not sponsored by a big name, and he's kind of
I admire
self-funding.
that. I think
Yeah.
it's super cool if you're out there independently
and to Tom's
racing.
credit, like you said, you're spending a whole bunch of money. But once you get to the Drone Racing League and you're one of the 12 pilots for that season, everything is taken care of for you. So like your drones, your parts, all that stuff, like they will take care of that for you. But you just got to get there.
That's
So-
very much like BattleBots, because
Yeah.
then they want you to follow along the drama of. Then you become like a personality. Okay, I understand it a little bit more because they do sort of the same thing with e-gaming, where they don't want you just to be the best at Madden. They also want you. What's your style? How do you dress? What's your flair? Are you the cocky guy, or are you the unassuming are you like the unassuming young kid that just mild mannered?
Yeah.
Are you the crazy girl that just happens to like pop music and have afro puffs?
And
You
I know it's very
Yeah.
stereotypical, but they do the thing where it's like if we want your fans not just to like you but to love you, we want everyone else to hate you. Like we want it that
like wrestling.
dichotomy. Yeah,
like wrestling.
exactly.
And they want you to buy the gear.
Yep.
Just like Matt from Trivium. Like you see that he's selling his own gear, and his fans that watch him play will buy his gear and wear it.
I'm gonna
It's
put
cool.
this in a category because I put everything in a category. Every person, everything in my life, it has to go into individual categories. And I'm putting this one
More like categories.
in the frisbee golf. Like I'm like if you're going like what else is kind of like this? Like frisbee golf. I guess Pokemon's in there. I think this is bigger than Pokemon.
It's one of those where it's like you can't believe, like you believe it exists, but you can't believe how much money is involved. Because even if you're talking about like disc golf or whatever,
wakeboarding.
yeah, there's people who get like
Yeah.
$1 million sponsorships, and you're like, how are you able to get $1 million doing this?
Okay, and why I mentioned wakeboarding is because there was like I think this was 2 years before I left radio. Some wakeboarding event paid for me to go out there and dress as Drunky the Bear and do a stunt or whatever. And it was a wakeboard competition on Lake Butler in Windermere or whatever, and it was at the lake edge of a public park. And then I thought, I was like, it's like weird that they're paying so much to promote this and like paying me my $300 fee to be out here for like a wakeboard competition. Then when I got there, it was huge money with like Ski Nautique was out there.
Every
and
boat
like
was $100K.
Malibu Boats was out there.
Yeah,
and
Malibu was out there because I remember this event.
and then the watch company, and there was a ton of sponsor
I
money.
know exactly what you're talking about. Nixon was out there. Spy Optics was out there.
And
It
then I was like,
yeah.
this is weird. And then I started putting two and two together. I was like, I guess the people that can afford wakeboard boats have money, and then they have families that are rich, obviously, because that's the reason they can afford some Ski Nautique that's $110,000. You know what I'm saying?
You use it once a month.
And
Oh, my God.
then they were just trying to market to the people who had money. Is that like that in drone racing?
Oh yeah, but especially because they're trying to be very family friendly. So you get out there, you impress the kids. The dads are going to buy $300, $400, $500 drones for each of their kids. Get them on board with that. And then, we get, like I said, bank sponsors, crypto sponsors. So people who are in high school and in college, they're going to start using those crypto,
Also, like
sponsors and
Coinbase
stuff.
will be out there with their tent.
Oh,
and
yeah,
like, because,
100%.
because the people in the
Pinata will be out there. You can mine NFTs on site.
Yeah.
Because that's their demographic, right? I bet the drone guys are the same Venn diagram crossover, the crypto guys and all that stuff.
You know what? I don't feel so bad about going to Disney and making a lightsaber for May all of a sudden if I don't have to kick down $350 for a drone for her. I'll take her over to, what is it, the Galaxy's Edge. You pick out any lightsaber you want, go nutty.
Do you think it has the opportunity to actually step up in popularity? Because I'll make the reference of the battle bots, right? Like
Man, I used to love BattleBots.
Like that, I feel appealed to everybody, and like everybody, even if you're not into robots, you were into BattleBots because it was just the inherent of two robots fighting each other.
They did it 2 years ago, I want to say, or 3 years ago. They rebooted it.
They tried to,
and
yeah.
I watched it.
Why didn't it?
No, it's still on.
Nobody else watched it.
It's still on, but it's on like Discovery Plus or something
They
like that.
hide it, but
yeah,
I like it. Like, it's still fun to watch. I bet your boys would like it.
Is it, or maybe it's one of these things where once you watch like it 10 times, you're like, I get it. Like, there's not much else.
No, I'm
so-
still a fan of the bots not fighting each other. I'm still a fan of the poor guy that spent all his time to get out there and fight, and he's driving around, and what happens? Some of those blades from the walls come at you, and they chop your tires good, and you're screwed. You didn't even think about the blades on the walls.
I think the main issue with that is everyone wants to see the fights. They don't want to see the 13 minutes of profile story of the person's background and how they came
they
up.
built it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing with like American Ninja Warrior. Like, let's just see them run the course. I don't need to see like 10 minutes of how they almost lost a leg 5
There's
years ago.
nothing I
Well, they fall
enjoy.
immediately, Kenny, and then there's like, well, the producer's like, oh, God damn it, what else have we got? They failed immediately.
There's nothing I enjoy more, almost to the point of sexual gratification, than when a BattleBot goes dead, and then that large, oversized clown mallet is just slamming it every 5 seconds. Kang! Kang! And it's just hitting it, and the guy's like, and he's still trying to use his controller. Hopefully he can back it up. Kang! And I'm just like, look at you.
So speaking of that, Kenny, is it just racing? Is there any other elements? Is there like,
I've seen the porno where they put the dildo on the thing, they
Oh, yeah,
fly it down.
That wasn't as gratifying to me. I was
Well,
just like,
because they did it POV. I don't want to see POV. I want to see what happens.
Yeah,
You know?
you're
I don't
right.
need to be the drone in that sense, because then that's like me being me.
So
I know what that looks like. I want to see it from,
do they have any other forms of competition? Like maybe you put some helium balloons and it's like who could pop the most balloons in a certain amount of time. You know what I'm just saying? Other things
my
besides just
God.
a standard race.
That's horrible.
So I'm just saying other,
They do
fighting.
That, they do that for like side videos or YouTube videos. Like when we were at the soccer field, we had Minnesota United try to kick a penalty kick with the drone acting as the goalie, but they did it opposite where the drone would try to avoid getting hit, and to see these MLS players try to kick the drone with the ball.
See, I watched that.
No,
That's good.
Kenny, that's the best thing you've ever said on our show.
Put a show together with that.
Yeah, because I would want to. I'd be like, he's gonna destroy the hell out of
Yeah,
that drone, and
because
I'd be in.
It's jock versus nerd. It's the perfect balance.
We can
of
call it
everything.
Nerd Jock. Write that down,
God.
Sam. Write that down. Kenny, you're a genius.
But it's like they're trying to destroy the nerd's drone with their pure power of their foot. It's great. Like that is something. Like put some soccer players out there, try to have them kick the drones.
Most people
out.
are saying they'd watch Kick the Drones.
Yeah, that's good. That's the best thing you told me all day.
Kick the drones and a giant King Kong. I like it.
Like,
Yeah.
like you put Seth out there, and as the drones fly
Oh,
by,
karate drone? Like, he's flipping up and kicking him out of the sky.
well, he's on a trampoline and he's trying to like jump kick the drones.
Do you think if he were on a trampoline, and I'll bring it out of retirement, if I fired up my dusty drone, do you think he could kick it out of the sky?
I don't know, but I'll watch it 100%.
now,
Let's
you-
put that on Twitch.
You know what I would do? I wouldn't fly it for his feet. I'd fly it right for his eyes and try to chop his eyes out.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, are they dangerous at all if they do
Oh
hit
my
someone?
God, yeah. Again,
Okay.
you're talking
What's
about
the worst injury you've seen?
You're talking about something going at 150 miles per hour, and there's still electronics in a battery pack. So the batteries exploding are actually the more dangerous part. 'Cause
Does that happen?
Oh my God, yeah. Now, thankfully, we haven't had it to where like a person's hand exploded, but we've had it where a battery, the drone crashed, the battery landed, and then you just saw it start sparking and like shooting out like
Rad.
toxic stuff like there.
Oh, that's like when a NASCAR catches on fire. I mean, I want the guy out. and
Yeah,
everything.
exactly.
Don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody to get hurt, but there is, like, you're watching. I mean, I'll sit there and something primal will tell me, you must watch that car burn. And I stand there and I'm like, all right.
So how many viewers does this get? Like, Kenny, if, so let's say Tom and Dan want to advertise, they want to sponsor, like, put a tiny Tom and Dan sticker on. Like, is that even allowed?
But the sticker's only about a couple of centimeters.
And you're not going to be able to see it because it's going
Fast.
100
That
miles
thing's
an
going
hour.
Well, I'm just saying, like, the nerd, we put
It would
him in a Tom
probably
and
be on
Dan shirt.
their jerseys because they have jerseys like that have.
Why do
their
they have
names and stuff.
why do they have
What does
like-
that cost?
Yeah, why do they have jerseys? They're fat and they're not sweating.
Yeah,
well,
but
like the e-gamers, everybody
Exactly.
adopted
E-gamers have
jerseys.
jerseys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, why are they wearing something like you should be wearing pajamas.
A onesie.
No,
Yeah.
I'm being serious. The fact that you wear, like, I don't think any fat football lineman wants to wear skin tight elf pants, but he does because that's the uniform, right? I don't think he wants to wear that. He wants to wear Carhartts or some like overalls or something, right? They wear them just like Big Tim. They don't want to
The
wear elf
spandex,
pants.
yeah.
But they know going into football, they're like, gotta wear elf pants because I gotta be able to stretch.
You're right. They
it's like
probably hate that.
it's like the hacky stand-up comics. Like, why do baseball managers dress up in full baseball
Yeah.
outfits
Oh,
when
yeah.
they're disgusto 250 pounds?
Tommy Lasorda.
Yeah.
A big old sort
Big
of.
Slim Fast.
But I like that because you're so fat. You're like, look,
But it's more comfortable.
It looks like a Halloween costume because you're so fat.
Oh my God, you
You're
look
not-
like you're so fat wearing that baseball outfit. You look like an old baseball player because they were fat. You look like Babe Ruth.
Right.
Can't they just give you the jacket to cover how big your belly
You know
is?
what? You could just dress like a suit. Just wear a Dodgers hat. You're fine.
I want-
know you're the
Yeah,
guy.
you're like a coach, Belichick. You just sleeveless.
Belichick ain't got no
sweats.
suit on. He gonna look like Brady. He got his fucking.
Nope. I want Stan Van Gundy to wear full jersey, tank top, short shorts.
So, how many viewers watch this?
So when we're there live, we've sold out every event that we're in. Now, again, it's not full stadium, but like when we were at Chase Field, we had about 10 to 20,000 people.
That's
all
a
seats
big
filled.
field.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
a big field.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So about half the stadium was filled with people. Now,
But they won't come back, right? Like, they came the first time to see it. It's like
That's
like
why we.
Shaq's podcast.
That's why we. You just killed Dan.
He did. He stabbed me good. That's a good one.
But online, the YouTube videos and stuff get millions of views, but of course that's over the course of whatever. But
Yeah.
I'd have to look at the actual TV ratings for NBC Sports, but we're getting high 100,000s, low millions.
Wow.
For the broadcast because it's a once a
That's
week
good.
thing. Now again, it's seasonal, so obviously it's not year round. But when the season is in place, it's live to tape, as they say in the biz. So, like the events that we did in August and September will start.
That's just
airing.
lazy, by the way. That's what we do.
Yeah,
we
pretty
just
much.
don't want to edit. We have to. Even when we do, we're mad about it. We're like, oh, you cursed. Now Samantha's
Don't say we. It's
I didn't
Samantha.
really curse. It was just like a. It was
It
like
was a half.
I kind of care a little bit. You know what? I don't care.
I know you don't.
Not my job. So where can people see this? Plug your
Yeah.
drone racing.
So NBC Sports, they're airing it once a week on there, and I know NBC Sports, oddly enough, is gonna stop being a channel after about a year, so we don't know what's gonna happen with
Drone
that.
racing killed it.
But on YouTube,
Kick out!
the Drone Racing League, and then DroneRacingLeague.com, you'll be able to see everything there. And like I said, this is one of my many side gigs. So I
think it's
promote it
cool.
and I shill it, but it's not it's not what I always do.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's
I would
awesome.
watch it. Any
Interesting.
idea if it's going to come here?
So we've
Because
tried.
I would like to go.
I've tried to get it at the Amway Center when I
Be
used to
perfect.
work
We
there
have an
all
awesome-
the time.
like, the
yeah.
Amway's great.
Or even Orlando City Soccer Stadium. Like if we want to do an indoor-outdoor thing,
That's
I've
a great
tried to get it to
facility,
Orlando.
too.
But the next ones, we were in Memphis, Minneapolis, and we're going to be in Las Vegas, and those are the next planned ones.
Cool.
So we're going to try to get it around the country.
Cool. All right, Kenny. I liked you having sitting on the
Yeah.
couch instead of staring at the TV, and it's good. So you should come back.
You don't get to bully me as much. I do want to say this live because I know there are awkwardly people that enjoy this, but Tom and Dan and Sam and Trav,
Oh, I love that.
they wanted to hear that live.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm glad he did that. I'm glad he did that.
Hey,
Now
no,
Tom's
nobody
upset.
got excited
Watch
about
this.
that.
Watch this. You got spinach in your teeth.
Oh God damn! His beans.
It's the same.
Ew.
It's the same tooth too.
Is it the sweet beans?
It's that. No, he just he's got one tooth on the side. No, it's this one on the side. It's always on your left
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
It's your bean tooth.
It's the cavity that it just.
It's not a
collects.
cavity. It's just like an area. I have a cavity I haven't treated, and man, do my teeth stink. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm
We'll just say
joking.
that. All right. Bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. All right. So Calvin Ridley's out because of personal issue.
Well, that's
what does that mean?
I don't know. I just got a text about it. It says Calvin Ridley, arguably our only receiver. He's our
Yeah.
receiver one,
Yeah.
and he's out with a personal issue. Russell Gage, broken ankle,
Yeah.
or so they say. They're not.
I'm
giving,
sorry about trading.
You didn't know? It was as soon as I hit OK, and then it was like I hit OK, and then it was like breaking. Russell Gage breaks his ankle. I'm like, all right. I've had a lot of players. The last
Yeah.
2 seasons, I've had a lot of players get super injured.
So when you say personal issue, but you don't tell what it is, everybody assumes that it's not that serious, and it then attacks you, right?
Well, like to me, when
Especially
I
in the
see it,
football world.
it would have been better for him to just, I'm not offering the ability for people to lie. Like lying is not good. I think we all know that. But if you're going to say something when your team is not performing, and it's like right now, the Atlanta Falcons are a really bad football team.
Yeah.
And this is a game going to London. So obviously a lot of distractions, and we're playing the Jets, who are the worst team. But
they had a win last week,
They're coming off
yeah.
a win. So, and we did not. So I'm thinking maybe not the time to deal with personal things. If this is a death in the family, I get it. But if this is just,
Well, shouldn't they say that? So
They
he doesn't
should.
get, because I bet
they
you
should say that.
he's,
But it's none of my business, really.
It isn't, but everybody's gonna have the same reaction that you had, where you're mad that he's not with his team, helping his team win over a personal
Yeah,
issue.
well, Juan put the statement.
But if you said if it was like a parent
They
died,
didn't
or-
say nothing. It says, due to a personal matter, Calvin Ridley will not travel with the Falcons to London this week. And the Falcons said in a statement released Thursday afternoon, we are in support of Calvin during this time and respect his privacy on the matter.
Yeah.
So maybe a family that a family member that passed away. Although it does hurt you that it's been a famous thing in at least the NFL where like NFL players,
You play.
their father just passed away or
Yeah,
their
you
brother
play.
or whatever, and you
Well,
play.
we don't know if that's even what it is.
No, we
No,
don't know
no.
what it is. Again,
Well,
none of our
beyond that,
business, but-
what else could be a
Something could happen with. Does he have kids? I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want information about his minor
Kids.
children out there.
Yeah.
kids
Like,
could be a factor.
Who knows?
But you still take flack when you don't say what it is, because I think the natural go-to emotion is mad
Well,
at
I
them for
think-
not being a team player or something.
Is there an argument here to say if you don't say what it is, in most cases, just cue in on that, if you don't say what it is, in most cases, it's because you feel guilty and know that if you say what it is, you're going to get flack.
I don't think so, because I don't think the team would come. Like the coach came out and said that he supported him in his
Right.
decision to sit out the game, as
Which
well
makes
as
it
wanted
sound-
to respect his privacy. So I feel like it's probably something pretty personal.
Sounds like
that
mental health almost.
could be.
Well, that's in the NFL, at least currently, still not accepted as a reason
It's not.
to miss a game. Like there's still old school mentality in the NFL, and you play for your team no matter what. Although that's changing, and you see people like retiring early and stuff, and then a lot of people are like congratulating them, and so it's not what it was, obviously 25 years ago. But if you just said I'm taking a mental, I mean, look at
Simone?
yeah, Biles. Everybody just attacked her
Yeah.
for not wanting to.
Yeah, you don't
like,
do that.
You get the same if in the NFL if you just said I'm taking like my mental health day or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You'd be attacked by every NFL fan, especially the fans of your team that you played for. Although
I'm not saying I don't blame him. I'm just saying, and as an Atlanta Falcon fan, you're kind of like, oh man, that ain't good.
for sure the lines have already changed, but man, I want to bet on the Jets now.
Yeah, I definitely would.
But with this
Zach Wilson looked good.
With this information that came out, immediately they take it off the board, reassess, put it back up, and it'll move the line. Although sometimes it moves the line too much, and you're like, well, Calvin Ridley's not worth 2 points. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, sometimes it could actually help you bet on the Falcons
right.
because you're like,
It's not like he's having a breakout season.
and every player's so good in the NFL that usually when you lose one, the backup is not that much worse, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway.
I wouldn't feel, but that's just how I am. Like I'm not the type of person where the work for me, especially with what I'm dealing with, like let's say it is a death in the family, we're just speculating at this point. And again, I'm not passing judgment on him. He's got to do whatever he's got to do. It's his life.
Yeah.
I am not wired to take mental health days that's nothing to me. It's like I would rather be here because this aligns my brain better.
Every day is a mental health
Exactly,
day,
a mental struggle for me.
yeah.
But seriously, I am the type of person where, like you said, I'm thinking like Brett Favre or something like when my mom died, my dad died, whatever. If you said we got a show to do, and I'm not saying that I'm any better than, I'm just saying that I am wired for this. I would rather be here. There is no such thing as, I need to be this time.
Sometimes it helps you because I've thought the same thing when my brother died. Like, I took time off down in Miami and stuff, but I wanted to get back to work just for the distraction.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is sit at home and be sad every day? Like, it's like almost like it helps you cope with it by just working because at least you're distracted. Like sitting and wallowing in it, it makes it worse sometimes.
But that's just me, and obviously there are millions of people that are absolutely different.
I remember my theory. So tell me if you think this is correct. So you see like certain teams that have really superstar players, right? And once they start losing or whatever, then there's a lot of talk, especially in like a fantasy world, because I'm like, I've listened to all that and stuff, that the workload or the production that superstar player used to have goes extremely down, right? Almost to the point where you're like, it seems like you're not trying that hard, but it makes sense to me if you're not going to make the playoffs and it's evident, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think these guys are professional enough to realize, they look at their schedule, they look at their personnel and stuff, and they're
Are you alluding to this could be nothing and could just be this team sucks and I'm not going to put my body on the line?
Because
I'm not traveling and possibly getting corona in London
or
something like
get
that.
hurt trying my hardest
see that.
to win a game that doesn't matter.
I did that
because our season's over.
No, I did this. I've done this where I know that my time with this I'm trying to be respectful, which is not something I'm good at. I know that my time with something is done, so I ain't giving you 100%.
You'll still try, but you're not going to try your hardest.
I ain't giving you the goods.
What's the point? And like, I think you have to think like that, right? Because why you individually, if you're Saquon Barkley and you're like one of the best running backs in the league, right? And you're on a team that is
Sit him this week, though.
No chance of making the playoffs, are you going to like try for that extra yard in that in the middle of the field and like try to get that first down and put your body on the line? Why would you do that?
The answer to your question, unless I were drafted to the Bucs, there's no team that I could play for where I would try my hardest because we'd have no chance. And I'd be
the Chiefs or the Bills.
No, I'm saying because I'm the football player. I'm going to make no difference. I'm not a good football player. So I'm just saying I'd rather just be on the Bucks and let them handle.
Now there is something to be said about like making the playoffs and stuff like. But I'm talking about the teams that really have statistically, it's unlikely that you're even going to do that. Like it makes sense to me that the superstar players are, and even the team is going to tell them like, hey, don't hurt yourself. We need you for next year. You know what I'm saying? Like, why hurt yourself in a season that was not going to go anywhere?
This is the first time I've ever seen this, though. And it's not a bad thing. Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. I mean,
could it be that
I've never seen personal issues listed as a thing on a.
I feel like I have, but maybe not in NFL, but I feel like I definitely have in sports.
I don't think I have. Not with fantasy. I've never seen somebody inactive because of that.
I'm sure on Twitter, like the internet detectives will,
figure it out,
especially the sports world.
But again, I do land on it's none of our business. I mean, we can sit here, cuss it, and discuss it and speculate, but I mean, I think it would it have been easier just to pick a common injury and go with that?
Yeah, say your hamstring.
That's what I think. I just think that's better.
You're not your hamstring is because
nobody's even going to question that. Everybody's going to be like, of course, yeah. And then you don't get the heat of people going like, oh, I wonder what it really,
Or it is actually justified because it's really horrible, and he's saying personal issue, and then when it comes out,
we're all going
to look like a-holes because
I'm not, because I'm sitting here quiet. I'll let you guys talk about it.
Just because you discuss them to make an a-hole.
I'm still going with the conspiracy theory that he knows the Falcons have no chance of making the playoffs, and he knows the team is in disarray, and then he's their star wide receiver, and he's like, why am I going to travel to London? Oh, it's a big pain in the ass to play in a game that doesn't matter.
But then what excuse does he give to the team and the coach?
Well, maybe the team and the coach, that's what I'm saying. The team and the coach knows it too. And then because I contend that at a certain point, because as long as your job's not on the line now, but Atlanta's got a brand new coach, right? So it's not like
if you want to call it that.
It's not like a situation where you've been losing for a couple of years and your job's on the line unless you win, because sometimes you could win your job, and that is a scenario where a coach is trying his hardest to win because he's playing for his job at this point. And if the players like him, they'll play hard for him too, right? You've seen that before. If they lose the locker room, then they're done. But sometimes it's like, if you know you're a new head coach and you got another 3 years to try to make Atlanta into something, you may rest your superstar players, and because you know this season's a bust. And I've seen...
Oh, man, you're making it even deeper. I like that.
Dude, this happened last year with the Eagles where they were winning a game and then they put in their third-string quarterback. Oh, what happened?
Just somebody in the chat brought up a good point. Like, maybe he can't get a passport. It could be a thing, or maybe he chose not to get vaccinated.
No.
But they don't want to talk about that? I don't know. I mean, it's just... If we're throwing things out there, I mean, that's a possibility.
It is a
There's
possibility.
a lot of people in the NFL that are not
Then
vaccinated.
that would mean that Atlanta possibly lied because they said they were the first team to be fully vaccinated.
Oh, really?
Remember?
Okay. No, I don't remember that.
That was big news.
Okay.
The Bucks in Atlanta. The Bucks in Atlanta were the first two teams to be fully vaccinated. I know that's a fact.
Yeah.
Because Atlanta did it first, and then the Bucks followed suit. And
All right, we'll scratch that
and
theory.
Then they were joking
like
around.
it,
No, they could lie. No, my point is they could lie.
True.
They could say we're fully vaccinated and not be fully vaccinated. People do it all the time.
Then I guess close enough. I would be like, yeah. I'll just Calvin Ridley's not on. That's fine.
And the vax rules are different in London. Yeah, Juan's right. And again,
but they also fly in private planes and stuff.
This is none of our business. And I'll just preface everything that we're saying by saying I really hope that nobody in his life is dead. That would be terrible. So hopefully it's not somebody in his. If his grandma died of COVID or something, or his mom, that'd be terrible.
It definitely could be.
I just thought it was interesting because I'd never seen it.
Although, if why would you have this much publicity on a person if it was just you wanted to rest them and not,
right?
Then you have him travel with the team and just stay on the sidelines and just say like, oh, his hamstring's not,
right.
Put him out there for a couple plays. So, I'm kind of retracting my whole stupid theory.
That's all right.
But it's like, although if it isn't like anything, if no family members died or anything like that, then he's going to get flack, right?
Well,
From Atlanta fans.
I went on Twitter.
Would, yeah.
I went on Twitter and he's already getting flack, which I don't think is fair. Before you know,
Well, even if your family member dies, you're still going to get flack for not playing because they're going to bring up everybody. Brett
they are.
Favre,
They already are. It's already happening.
Which
which I don't think is fair, but
there's tons of players that have played
but everybody's
day after
different. But
they
that
died.
doesn't matter.
It's
Yeah,
true.
I
It's true.
know.
But I'm just saying what the
No,
reality.
you're right.
is.
Yeah. No, the reality is if you go on to Twitter right now and see what Atlanta fans are saying, they're not being nice, and they use the internet, and they know that it's not real, and they just say the most vile and disgusting things to a guy who could be tormented right now. Who knows?
Yeah.
Weird. You can do voicemail?
Yeah,
We got
yeah.
a couple more minutes here. Let's try this one.
Hi, this is Daniel. You guys were talking about on Friday that you can't pick up somebody's Adderall. You can pick up anything for anybody. Let's just say I just know about it, and you can pick up somebody's Loratabs, Percocets. As long as you pay them their money and you sign that thing, you're good. Doesn't matter who you are. You don't even have to have the same last name.
Hold on. No, that can't be right?
I like that this
That-
guy leads with
no.
you can pick up anything for anybody.
Everything I was taught and learned as a pharmacy tech, that is not accurate.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe they got loosey-goosey with the pills again. Who knows?
No, I don't think so.
I've been out of the game for a while.
Because I know for a fact that when I give my prescription, because the Adderall is a
Yes.
scheduled 1, I think, or whatever.
It's math.
It's a little bit of amphetamine salts. But
They loosened it on my Xanax, though, because Andrea picks that up in jugs.
they have to see my ID and all that stuff. But I do think Crystal has picked it up when it's ready before. But I assumed it was because she had the same last name. They gave it to her. Because what's to stop you from just standing in line and then listening to someone put in a
Does she
prescription?
have to show ID or anything?
I have to ask her. I'm not sure. But because
They
if I
do the
just
same thing. They go, what is your address? Your physical address and the last 4 digits of your social security number?
here's why this can't be true.
Like stuff like that.
Because during the pain pill epidemic in Florida,
I call those the good old days.
like we would have heard stories of like people that just hung out at CVS or a Publix pharmacy listening to people that get pain pill prescriptions, and then they'll show up the next day and pick up their prescription, right? I mean,
Yeah.
addicts were willing to do anything. They were
Yes.
robbing, so for sure that would have happened. So I assume that there's got to be more than
I wish they set them out like Publix does the pre-made subs, because I just walk up there and I'd be like, I'd shake them, and I think these sound like Percocet. I just run up the door.
Yeah. So there's got to be some sort of vetting
I
for
don't know. I'm
picking up.
seeing in the chat that people have their mother-in-law pick it up for them. All you need is a birth date and a license. And
Yeah,
you're
it's
good to
usually
go.
just they just verify like
That
where you
seems
live.
that seems sketchy as hell.
They must not have that many problems with it, but it seems easy to scam other people's
That would
pills.
seem extremely easy.
Which is someone's
There's
birthday.
a lot of scams right now. I'll give you a new one that I like to do. Tropical Smoothie Cafe. You can order online using the app, and then they'll make the smoothie, and then they have these IKEA boxes out there, and they'll set the smoothie in there with a straw and then the receipt next to it. I don't even order. I just walk in there. I confidently walk to the back. I look at whatever's there, and then I just kind of use my eyes, and if it looks red, I'm like, that's got to be a Captain Kidd or whatever, and I just grab it, I take the receipt, I confidently walk out.
People do that at Publix too. Yeah.
Yeah, you just do that. It's free smoothies for days. I get smoothies, subs, all kinds of stuff, man.
What, if
Don't
it-
even get me started about when I steal shirts from Old Navy and then I go into the changing room and I put the shirt on and try it on, right? So I put it on me, and then I just put the shirt I had on over that shirt, and I just walk right out.
Ooh.
The alarm goes off and everything. I just run.
When I walk by the changing rooms, you could see there's a gap in the door. You
Yeah.
could see them nude.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's why I only stand there hours on end. I spend most of my Saturdays by the Old Navy changing rooms.
All right, bye-bye.